Hi everyone, welcome to the Legally Yours Marketplace. I'm so incredibly excited today because I'm sitting down with the absolutely brilliant Robert Cugno from FutureU Coaching. And in this video, we're going to get to know Robert a little bit better and find out about what Robert actually does. So thank you for joining me, Robert.
Oh, thank you. It's great to be here. Thank you very much.
Love it. So let's get into it. Talk me a little bit about your background, and that will lead us into what you're actually doing with FutureU.
Sure. So I started my career as a humble criminologist.
Is there such a thing as a humble criminologist?
Yeah, that is. It's a title that I still attach to, actually, surprisingly. For all the things I've done, I still hold dear my criminology studies. So there you go. So when I started my career, I got the opportunity to do some lecturing at university. So for a period of time, I was a lecturer in criminology, justice, youth work, and community work. And I was a lecturer, teacher, tutor for about 10 years.
Okay.
And then I got bitten by the ambition bug, as most of us do. And I left teaching to climb the management ladder at higher education. So I worked at three universities in Melbourne, and I had a great time. I generally loved what I do. But at the end of 2013, I got to the point where I just knew I hated what I was doing. It wasn't me, and I'd grown out of it. And in hindsight, I probably should never have gotten into that role, but I did. But what I did, like most people, was I tried to fake it for another year, just see if I would grow out of it, if it's just a phase.
Yes.
Reality was, I knew deep down I was in the wrong spot. I needed to move. This part of my career was done with, and I couldn't see myself doing it for the rest of my life.
Yes.
So 2014, I decided I didn't get over it. I couldn't fake it. So I stepped out. I stepped out of my 22-year higher education career with absolutely no safety net. I did not know what I wanted to do, but I knew what I did not want to do, and that was it. And it wasn't the people, it was nothing, it was me. It was just this, I'd gone and I'd done enough, and I was over it, to be blunt. So, it was a tough call, and one of the toughest parts of that call was I attached a lot of meaning to what I did and who I was. And I had these grand titles, and I was climbing in the ladder, and my mum, she would tell people my son's a director at university, and there was a lot of attachment to this title. And so for me, the toughest part was letting that go. That's what took me a year. It took me a year to come to terms with, I'm going to step out and just be nothing and not know what I want to do. But in the end, I did it by fluke. But it was the best thing I did, because at the time, there was pressure on my relationship. I wasn't present. I was sort of in another place, but it wasn't like a working place. It was sort of like the doldrums, the blues, So anyway, so I quit that and took time to reflect what I wanted to do. And in that time, what I realized was my greatest joy, my greatest happiness, and my greatest skill, for want of a better description, was when I was teaching, when I was lecturing and tutoring. And I knew all the time, but it really became clear when I took a few months just to reflect on what's next, that I'm a teacher at heart. I'm a guide. I like to share knowledge, and I like to have an impact where I'm able to share my experiences to help people grow. And when I learned that, and when I learned that my last role was, in the end, it was probably I was in the wrong role. It wasn't for me. So it wasn't anything I did. It was just, I just didn't suit the role.
Yes.
And I got to the point when I realized I didn't suit that role, and there was nothing wrong with me. And that what I actually was, and what gave me the greatest joy, was some sort of role that involved teaching, guiding, and helping. And
that. Yeah,
that was the moment. Yep, that was when FutureU Coaching was born.
It's really beautiful, because I like that piece when you talked about sort of not knowing what your identity was, and it being so caught up in a title or something that you felt other people expected you to be. And now you have built a whole business on helping people find that identity in themselves and understanding who their future you is. So tell me about then FutureU, because that just leads us into now what you do with the wonderful work you do with your clients.
Yeah, thank you. And it is. It was really interesting. I was having a conversation with someone, and I was talking about my career, and I went from criminology. At one stage, I was head of sales in an engineering department.
Okay.
not knowing.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not sure where that
Don't
fits.
ask.
Yeah.
Long story.
Okay.
Actually,
Yes,
I'm not
yes.
100% certain, but someone could see things in me that I couldn't see, and we'll come back to that theme afterwards. So I've been around, climbed the ladder, had many experiences, didn't regret any of them, but it was a case of, okay, what can I do? And talking to someone, a friend actually at a party, they said to me, if you actually bottle your career and bottle your experiences, you're going to make a fortune, because there are so many unhappy people out there.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people who got to who are where you got to, and there's no one to help them. And it was like, wow, yes. So that was the driver. It was that impact. It was going out and finding and creating something that could help guide others, so I could minimize the impact on their lives that it had on mine. To want of a better description.
I absolutely love it. And so now in FutureU, talk me through the programs and how you actually work with clients to I guess, help them identify, what their identity is and what's going to give them career happiness. What's the process you use?
So first of all, before we get to the process, just to touch on the three type of clients I work with. Yes. First of all, I focused only on professional people.
Yeah.
Do you want to hear something really funny? One of my goals when I started the business was actually to help return to work mums get back into the workforce. Yeah, and one of my closest friends said to me, Rob, what do you know about the plight of return to work mums? And I went, yeah, they're off the list. Leave that for someone else.
Well, people might, you've got something to offer, but yes, I think that probably was good advice. Yeah.
It was good advice. So I focus on professionals, people in professional roles, just like I was. I focus on people who are unhappy in their role. I focus on people who know they're in the wrong role. Yes. And I focus on people who want to accelerate their career. So they're my three avatars. Okay. That's what I focus on. And what I offer is a range of different coaching programs. So I've got a long list of programs, but my flagship program is the 9 Steps to Career Happiness. Yes. That's my flagship program. And that's exceptionally popular. And that's the sort of program that people come to me and go, look, I know I'm not a lawyer, but I don't know what I am. Yes. Help me get there. Yeah. But I also offer shorter courses or coaching programs around interview skills, salary negotiation, networking, updating, designing and creating an effective LinkedIn page. I also offer what I call my bespoke program. So a lot of my clients come to me and they don't fit the box. They don't want something off the shelf. So what I do is that we sit together and we scope through their issues, and we create a coaching program that they believe will get them to where they want to get to. And that's what it's all about. And it's really interesting because someone said to me, do you ever sit there with a client and think to yourself they're dreaming? I say, to some extent, yes, but it's my skill as a coach to either make them aware of that or support them to help them discover that process themselves. So I'm not a teller, but I provide a safe haven to explore and to question oneself and to get angry with oneself. And, there've been the odd coaching session where people might say it's not professional, but, we've both had a bit of a cry. But hey, it's about letting things go and understanding it. So they're my programs. I also offer a fantastic online career guide report, which allows people to identify their greatest strengths. It helps them identify the best career options for them based on their strengths. And it also helps identify the steps they need to take to develop their career to take it to that next step. So that online program is immensely powerful. And all of my clients get a lot of value out of that. So that's what I offer.
I absolutely love it. And we are going to do a couple more episodes where we sort of go into it, delve a bit deeper into all of these topics. But look, one thing I do love is the fact that, you have this passion for helping people find their career happiness, but it's a whole range of things. And particularly when we relate it back to legal, where I think at the moment there's this perception that you can, there's only a couple of options limited. You either stay in the unhappy career that you've built yourself in law, which a lot of people feel that's what that's what law is,
Yeah.
or they leave, which is incredibly sad because often they're the ones we want to keep in the industry, or they start their own firm. But I really love the way that you sort of work to kind of look at all the different ranges of possibilities, particularly for us lawyers. And I know you have a personal connection to a lawyer in your very own life, which is fantastic. So you understand how we kind of feel and think and who we are. So look, if this is resonating with you out there, I would really encourage you to go online to futureucoaching.com.au. You can find all those resources there, and to tap into Robert. And you can actually find him on our Legally Yours marketplace too at legallyyours.com.au. Thank you, Robert, for joining me, and stay tuned for more episodes with Robert and myself. Thank you.
Thank you.